It's 2018, which means we've been in our debt-free journey for 6 years now. And during that 6 years, we've learned a lot. To find out what, keep watching.
Hi, this is Marriage and Family Matters. I'm Sonia, and this is my husband, Brennan. Today, we're talking to you about a few things that we've learned on our debt-free journey. For me, I'll just get us started. Sorry. For me, one of the things that stands out is something I learned on our journey is that being frugal does not mean that you're smart with money. Because I learned that I've always been really frugal and never been one to spend a lot on any particular thing. But I wasn't always making good decisions, as you've probably heard my husband say.
Yeah, she made a lot of dumb decisions with money.
So anyway, what I mean by that is I made I would make purchases that were like minimal, but it wasn't a good or wise use of my funds.
Dumb purchases. Let's just be clear. Go ahead.
So that's my reason. Tell them yours.
One of the first things that I learned when we started our debt-free journey was that I was really brand loyal. And I'm still pretty brand loyal. I think I'm less brand loyal than what I was when I started.
Yeah, they used to pick on my non-name brand stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't just wear non-name brand stuff. And it was with everything. It was with food, my television sets, my cable provider, cell phone provider, pretty much everything. Like, these big companies did a really good job of brainwashing me and just people in general into believing that they had to have their brand.
They got them.
So
sucked right in.
They did. And so I would say initially we probably lost out on a lot of money that we could have probably, got out of debt a little bit faster had I been a lot more willing and open-minded about not being beholden to these brands. So that's one of the things that I learned, and that's one of the things I'm still struggling with. Like, I'm like almost an addict to brands, and I'm breaking it. I'm going to AA.
It's gotten better.
Yeah, I'm going to AA. I got 12. No, I'm joking, but I'm getting better with it. Go ahead. So you had something else?
No.
Oh, okay. Another. You really didn't have anything else? She didn't learn anything. This is why we still.
But it's general.
Okay. So another thing that I learned, and this doesn't really specifically pertain to me personally. Well, it does, but it's also in general. I learned that we as people, we as society and Americans have been really brainwashed into believing that we had to have some sort of debt.
Yeah.
And I absolutely live by that, thinking that there was such a thing as good debt. Now that's really, really stupid, because that's saying like there's such a thing as good cancer, right? Or good AIDS, or something, that's really bad but it's good. It doesn't make any sense. So I was really, brainwashed into believing that I, had to have some sort of debt. And it was only when I opened my mind to believing that, we could live a debt-free lifestyle when I really started to see that the fallacy in that thought. So that's one of the things that, another thing that I learned. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think there's one more thing we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead. You know what it is?
I can't remember.
See, my wife didn't learn anything. Nothing at all.
Not
See,
true,
I learned all the lessons, and I have to pass the lessons down to her because she didn't learn. This is why she makes dumb decisions with money.
I do not still make dumb decisions with money.
Mm-hmm. Tell us what the next thing you learned is then. See? The other thing, and it's probably one of the more important things that I've learned, again, this is a general thing, is that, I'll say it personally, that I was consumed with credit score. And so because I wasn't really educated on debt and credit until I was a little bit older, I'd probably say after college, I knew what credit was when I was in college. The only thing I knew is that I needed to get a credit card for an emergency. which is stupid. If once I break this down, you'll understand. But being wrapped up in the credit score and having good credit is one of the things that I learned that a lot of people was brainwashed into that. And if you think about it again, that's one of those other things that, it's like having good cancer. Because all a credit score is a measure of how well you pay back your debt. So in order,
it just says you can borrow money really well.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So in order to get a credit score, you have to go into debt. And so I, along with a lot of people, will go into debt so that they can get a high credit score, so they can go into debt, so that they can maintain a high credit score. Like it's this never-ending game.
It's
exactly.
A cycle.
Yeah. So again, had I been educated on debt initially, I probably wouldn't have gone into as much debt. I was young. I probably would have still gone into debt because I was a young adult. Now, you do the opposite of what mature adults and your elders tell you. So I probably would have still gone into debt. But I probably wouldn't have gone head first into debt like I did, because I didn't have any clue.
Right,
I just jumped right in, like into the shallow end of the pool head first. And it says, no diving. I dove straight in. And so had I been educated on debt, versus credit, then I probably wouldn't have gone as hard into debt. I probably would have looked for ways to eliminate or not, borrow so much, student loans and stuff like that, when I was in college. One of the things I think, one of the dumbest things that I've heard, and and if you believe this, I don't want to call you dumb, but to me, it just doesn't compute. So you should use a credit card in case of an emergency. So here's my thought. And I was thinking about this when I was taking a shower the other day. I was like, people want to use a credit card in case of an emergency, right? So here's a situation that comes up. Let's say it's in a situation, and it's an emergency type situation, where you don't have any money to do something. Let's say that something is to
A car repair.
Get a car repaired. So because you don't have money to get a car repair, I'm now going to borrow money and pay back, a lot of interest because I'm broke. Like, you digging yourself deep in the holes is what I was thinking about. Like, I don't have money. So because I don't have money, I'm going to go ahead and get myself into even worse situation because I didn't have money. Like,
your emergency is creating another emergency.
Eventually, yeah, there you go. See, I couldn't articulate it well, and she could. That's why we're a great team. So that's one of the things, and that's the other thing that I learned I started to learn when we started this debt-free journey. There's a whole lot of other things that I could talk about that I'm not going to bore you guys with. Those are just the main things that we've learned, at least that I've learned, because my wife didn't learn anything.
I
did.
You
heard. Go ahead.
Something.
You got something?
So if I had to summarize it all and redeem myself from my husband,
she can't redeem herself.
To me over here. One of the things that's important to know about living a debt-free life is it takes discipline and it takes patience and something called delayed gratification because you are intentional with your money and you're planning those financial investments and things that you want to do with your funds, that means you may not be able to run out and go get that thing that you want immediately. That means you have to be more what's the word I'm looking for? You have to be more thoughtful and intentional about the things that you do. So it does change the way it might change the way you live, and it might change, you may be a person that's more spontaneous, but you may have to plan for being spontaneous. And so it doesn't mean you can't be spontaneous, but it just means you have to prepare yourself to put yourself in a situation to be there. And that takes patience.
So what did you learn? Because you just said a lot.
I learned that it takes discipline.
Okay.
To continue on this path.
Okay.
That's what I said.
I mean, you said a lot. And I wasn't sure if you learned something or not. Because earlier you were saying that you didn't learn anything.
Oh, stop.
So I wasn't sure if you was just talking
The learning is it takes patience and discipline to continue being
because I thought you were going to say
debt-free.
delayed gratification. Because you said something about I'm messing with you. Anyway, with that said, that's all we have for tonight. Guys, if you like what you heard, please subscribe or leave a comment or do both. If you want to hear us talk about another financial topic or any other topics, please leave that in the comments as well. We will do our best to try to accommodate your requests. So
leave a comment and tell us what you've learned if you're on your debt-free journey as well. We'd love to hear your learnings also. So
yeah, or if you hadn't started your debt-free journey but you're thinking about it and you know that you've learned something, post that as well. Yeah.
This has been Marriage and Family Matters,
where marriage and family does matter.
Keep watching.
Yeah, keep watching. Until next time.